This is a Copper Garden shop, Dave Burns here, and looking at a shop that's about as bad as it gets in terms of multiple processes and projects going on. But I wanted to do a quick update tonight for one client in particular. He'll recognize this piece, and our dummy, a mock-up. I'm the dummy. That's the mock-up that we placed at the home and learned quite a bit. It was well worth doing. The basis for the design is actually taking off on a font rather than my more typical botanical themes. We're working with the font style. Probably the most important thing is the base and how that's going to go together. So that's the first thing I have done. I have made this plate, gusseted it, that's a word, 2 words. And in the center we have a sleeve, excuse my camera angle, I'm sorry. And this is the exact diameter of the receiver. And we've already decided to lower it by a few inches, but I want a little bit of flex. I want a little more margin for, I'm going to set the camera down 1 second. I hope this will come out at that close range. Let's see if that works. Yeah, I think this is going to work. I can now have another adjustment of a few inches, enough to give us some latitude. And what will happen here, excuse my camera, I'm sorry, just a quick squeeze on a stainless steel, and this will be out of sight, hose clamp, and you can now pick up the whole thing. With that, I can't because it's that heavy, but that's going to be strong enough. Then once we're settled on the exact height, plus or minus, in other words, we'll get it right where we feel best, we'll pin it. So we'll have an additional locking point that will keep this thing from moving. You might see a little relief here. That's to make sure we had room to bring in a hose clamp. I wondered if one would be adequate. One is way more than adequate. So I'm just giving you a little short look at what's happened during this week. Actually, the other thing that happened during this week, as my best excuse, is that I had a massive pallet load of brass here that I could not get around hardly until I cut it all up. So here's the 33 or 4 leaves that are going into a project down in the Caribbean, and I had to step up and get that done. Also, my son's airplane needed a wheel pant repair, so guess who's doing wheel pant repair this week? Doesn't interfere with anything much. I work on it about 10 minutes at the end of a day and let the fiberglass go off, and then I come back to it. The tubing, the larger diameter tubing is here and cut, not precisely, everything's cut a little bit long. Again, so we'll have some flexibility. I'm actually toying on an idea of making the mounting of the uprights to the crosspiece adjustable as well. That's tricky because of the complexity of the uprights. It's pretty easy to do a adjustable slider thing up here at this mounting point. It gets tricky down here where all the other pieces meet. That may or may not happen. I'd kind of like to have that flexibility in the process, but hold on to your shirt. I'm not positive we're going to be able to do that, but as it develops, we'll figure that out. Anyway, that's all. That's a short look at the shop. I'm sorry it's such a mess, but sometimes it's just like this. It's Christmas too, and we're doing Christmas lights and all of that sort of stuff. Lots going on, having a good time. Hope this gave you a little feeling of what's going on here at Copper Gardens. Talk to you in another video soon. Good night.